and welcome to your free video lesson all about encouraging independent play skills in your toddler. I am Rachel Coley. I'm the pediatric occupational therapist, mama of two, soon to be three in a couple weeks, and total child development nerd behind CanDoKiddo.com. And I really created this lesson because of all of the challenges and questions that I hear from fellow toddler parents. This one is at the top of the list. Parents of toddlers are really struggling with how to go from where they are now, which is a clingy toddler who wants to only play with mommy and daddy all day long, and heaven forbid you leave the room to go to the potty by yourself, and yes, I call it a potty because I'm a parent, or cook dinner without a clinging, whining child on your leg. And they know where they want to go, but they're not sure how to get there. So that's what this course is all about. I want to share, I started out with 3 tips, but I'm throwing in a bonus 4th tip for you that's going to help you take the progression from where you are now with a clingy toddler to having a toddler who has some good independent play skills. And it is a progression, so that's important to know that I'm not going to give you any magic bullet that's going to solve this challenge overnight for you. It's going to be a learning process because independent play skills are really learned and they take time, they take practice, and some of the tips that I offer are going to require a little bit of tweaking and experimenting on your part to find what works for you, for your kiddo, and for your family routines. So let's dive into the first tip now. Tip number 1 is to make solo play a part of your toddler's every day. And the reason for that is that toddlers actually thrive on predictability and routine. What tends to happen if you offer solo play here, there, and everywhere, willy-nilly, at your discretion, and your toddler never knows when it's coming, they have a tendency to want to assert control and choice in the matter and push back against it. But if it happens every day as a predictable part of their everyday rhythm, they have a tendency to accept it and to enjoy it more. They're comforted by the predictability of it. So let's look at how to make solo play a part of every day. You're going to be establishing a regular room time or quiet time for your kiddo. Call it whatever you want in your family. You want this to happen in a toddler-proof space, but this doesn't have to be your kiddo's room. This could be a utility room, a laundry room, wherever you can make it safe and contain your kiddo with a baby gate. You want to pick a good time of day for your child, so most likely not 5 p.m., and then you want to start with a very short duration for room time or quiet time and increase as your kiddo tolerates it. So here's my 18-month-old in room time in the morning. She's behind her baby gate in her room. It's toddler-proofed, and she's having fun. Now, she's very used to room time. She's been doing this for several months, and I often hear from fellow parents that want to know, do they always like it? What if they cry? Have they always done well with it from the start? The answer is heck no. They're toddlers. There's basically nothing in this world that they always love or always do well with. Some days are different than others. Their moods are different, and their temperaments are definitely different. So how they deal with frustration in room time is very different. But it's one of those things where as a toddler parent, you're not parenting a baby anymore. You're parenting a toddler. And part of that is learning to hold boundaries for your toddlers lovingly and positively, but firmly. This is the boundary. This is how it's going to happen. That is developmentally appropriate and helpful for toddlers to learn. And room time or independent play time for short periods is completely developmentally appropriate for toddlers. So it's sort of like I equate it to buckling them in a car seat or giving them a bath. They don't always love it, but it is what they need. It's what's good for them. And so I just keep on keeping on, making it a part of the routine and holding my boundary lovingly. I know room time feels hard today, but it's just a few more minutes. I'll see mommy will be back in a few more minutes. Or I know you want help with that toy during room time. I will help you when we're all done with room time. And so that's one of the boundaries that I hold for my kids, unless they're like hurt or stuck or like really need my help. I just remind them if it's just a preference, I want mommy to help me do this thing or get this other toy that's not in my room. Or I drop the toy over the baby gate, which is a favorite for my little one. I'm not available to help during room time. And this is, if you ever want to have more children, this is a boundary and an important skill for them to learn and to deal with the frustration of now. Because if you introduce a new baby to your family anytime in the next few years, they will need to know that mommy and daddy are not always available at the drop of a hat for them. So just a little tip from a mom of soon to be 3 under 3.5. They just need to learn this, and they're totally capable of learning this at these ages. Now, another question I get is how young can you start room time? I personally started when my daughter was 15 months and my son was 2, but they have done so well with it that I actually wish I'd started earlier. I think about 12 or 13 months I would have done it similarly in the room with the baby gate up. I think before then I probably would have done it more in a pack and play or something where I'm a little bit more closely supervising, just because the risks of a free-ranging baby in a room with a parent out of sight. But I would set aside, and I did set aside some independent play time for my kiddos while I got ready in the morning and things like that. So it looked a little bit different for a baby, but I think once they turn 1 or are steady walkers, I feel like it's a little bit fair game to start this and try it out and see how it goes. Tip 2 is to teach your toddler pretend play skills. So let's look at your action steps for this tip. These action steps are really going to take place separate from quiet time or room time. These are going to happen during those times when you are sitting on the floor playing with your kiddo. You want to make sure you're offering open-ended toys that are symbolic, at least for some of their playtimes. These might include animals, people, or vehicles, just toys that represent real things. Next, you're going to model really simple, concrete pretend play actions, because that's where pretend play begins. Young toddlers start by pretending that things are eating or sleeping or crying or kissing. Very simple actions that they see every day in their life. They're not going to be swooping around the room in a Superman cape having elaborate play schemes. So that's where you want to start your play with them when you're teaching pretend play skills. You're going to play with your toddler and invite them into the pretend play. As they start to imitate and do some on their own, you can quietly fade into the background. You're still sitting right there, but you're letting your toddler run with some of these imitations that they're doing. Let's take a look at what this might look like. Well, all the friends. Can I come in? Oh, good. What about a sheep friend? A pig. I think all the friends are coming. The cow. Uh-oh. It's okay. What about someone over there? Is there anyone over there that wants to come in, like a piggy? Yeah. Look. Oh, he's sleeping. Up? He's sleeping up there. Who's he peeking at? Hi, pig. Hi, piggy. Knock. Oh, cow's looking out the window now. Is that what's happening? Hi, cow. Mommy. You want mommy to be the sheep, the pig? You want him to come around here and say hi to the cow? Hi, cow. I see you. Knock. And then we see what pretend play looks like with the same toy the next day at room time. Tip number 3 is to offer toddler-safe toys that match your child's current developmental skills and interests. What is your child most interested and captivated by lately? As long as it's toddler-safe, bring that into room time. That's what's going to hold their interest. Even if every day at room time for 3 weeks they're playing with trains, as long as they're interested and independent, celebrate a success. Next, you want to think about what new skills is your toddler independent with. And this is key. You don't want to be putting out a bunch of toys that are still really hard for your kiddo that are going to frustrate them and make them want your help. A great example of this is this little 4-piece stacker that my daughter's doing. She is really into stacking toys right now, but I want to make sure that I'm offering one like this one that she's been able to do for several months. She's really good at it. So it holds her interest in stacking, but it's not one of her trickier stackers that she needs help with. And finally, for your bonus tip, rotate your toys. Now, you may have heard me talk about this in a Facebook Live or read about it on the blog, but I am a huge fan of rotating toys for your kiddos. And one of the big reasons is that fewer toys allows them to make choices more clearly and to stay focused on one thing for a little bit longer. Now, you can make this toy rotation as complicated or as simple as you'd like, but the general gist is you're not going to offer your child tons and tons and tons of toys for independent playtimes. You're going to narrow it down to a small set of toys, maybe 4 to 8 is an ideal number to start with, and then you rotate them. You offer fresh toys. These aren't new from the store, these are new from the closet or from the toy bin every few days or every few weeks as they start to get bored. So I hope you found something in those 4 tips that you can implement starting today. Some little step you can take today to help you on the progression from where you are now with a clingy toddler to a toddler with independent play skills. And I also hope that those tips help shed some light on the fact that this is really something that your child will be learning and that you're helping to teach them. And that it will take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice, but you are helping your child to grow, learn, and develop in a really important way by implementing these tips and helping support independent play skills. Happy playing with your kiddo. Bye.